Hello, hello. Welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. And I just want to say a big hello to everyone out there who comes back week after week, and especially a big shout out to all the newbies on board that have just discovered the Life After Plus One. Hello to you guys and welcome. I'm hoping you're loving it so far and you're getting the support that you need whilst on your single parent journey, because this is the place where I talk about anything and everything that is related to single parenting. Now, there's probably a ton of topics that I haven't covered yet, but there's only so much you can get in an episode. So if there's anything in particular that you want to hear that you haven't heard spoken about on this show as yet, then feel free to message me on my Instagram page or send me an email. I'm happy to discuss anything that you're just wanting to hear about. And remember, I talk about anything that's related to single parenting, whether it's co-parenting, whether it's dating, whether it's dealing with your kids, whether it's the loneliness, anything at all that comes with being a single parent. I will try and nut it out at some point on one of these episodes if I haven't already. So this is the place to be if you're wanting that support. And don't forget, if you are wanting a little bit more, maybe you're finding the podcast helpful, but you're wanting that little bit more support, then I do have one-on-one coaching sessions available for that exact reason. It's more personalized, it's more tailored to you, and we go through your exact situation and talk about ways that you can manage it a little better so you're not dealing with the conflict and you're not dealing with the drama and the stress and the sleepless nights. Because I get it. I know what it's like when you're crying yourself to sleep and you're dreading having to deal with your ex and all the problems that come with it, the money issues, the trouble, the loneliness, and not having any friends. It can be a shit fight, and I get it. So if you're needing someone to talk to, I'm your gal. I'm here for that. I've walked in your shoes. I know what it's like. I've come out the other side, and I'm here to help you guys through that. So if you're needing that support, then feel free to reach out. There is a free one-on-one chat to get you started as well, and that's in my show notes. And so just jump on there and book a session. On that note, I'm going to get started on today's episode, which is what are you avoiding? And you might think, well, what's this got to do with single parenting? A lot, because we all get time poor as single parents. We don't have time to do the big things that we need to do. And it just keeps getting put on the later pile, on the later pile, on the later pile. And the next minute, you've got all these bills coming up and you've got all these phone calls that you're avoiding and you've got all these letters that you're refusing to open and all this. You're just overwhelmed with all this shit that you need to do because you keep avoiding it. So I'm going to talk about that today and how to get through all these things that we just keep avoiding. And it's not just the paperwork and the bills, it's the conversations. It's dealing with your ex. Maybe it's something with your kids. Maybe it's a new partner or someone that you're dating. Anything in life that you're avoiding. Let's get that sorted today and stop avoiding the hard shit. Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So, let's dive in. Let's stop avoiding the hardship. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I've done it. I've been there. I know what it's like when things are happening and you're just in that situation of just becoming a single parent, or maybe you've been there for a while. It's a hard gig. I get it. Doing it all on your own financially is tough, especially in this financial market. It ain't easy. So I know what it's like to avoid bills or avoid certain things, and you just get these letters piling up and you can just keep getting these emails. You don't get the letters as much these days, it's the emails. And then you just keep ignoring them, or you might put them in spam hoping that you don't see them. It will just make it all disappear. I've done that. I've put something in my spam folder hoping it just would disappear. It doesn't work that way. If only it were that easy, right? Just put it into spam and it's all disappeared. Well, it doesn't work. So I want you to be real with yourself today and really think about, what are you putting off? What have you been avoiding? Because when you do this, it just adds a constant level of stress and a constant level of worry and pressure to your life that you don't need. You've already got enough stress. And by constantly avoiding something, you think by not dealing with it is easier. But realistically, not dealing with it, you're adding more stress to yourself because you're thinking about it. Okay, what happens if? What do I do? What happens if it gets worse? What happens if the interest increases? What happens if all these what ifs start playing in your head? And it can cause sleepless nights. It can cause stress. It can cause a lot of anxiety, which you don't need as a single parent. So I want you to really think about, what are you putting off? And why are you putting off? Well, realistically, we know why, don't we? Because you're scared of the outcome. You're scared of facing reality. But the thing is that a lot of people forget, when you face reality and when you actually deal with the hard shit, it makes it so much easier. And it sounds crazy, doesn't it? You think by avoiding the hard shit, you don't have to deal with the hard shit. But when you actually deal with it, it is easier because you're getting rid of the stress and the worries that come with it. And I know it can be scary dealing with things head on. And no one likes confrontation. No one likes drama. And sometimes, well, quite often, a lot of people, the best way to handle things when it might create drama is to avoid it completely. And that often works out going against you. It doesn't work in your favor when you avoid things. Now, like I said at the beginning, it could be something like a bill. It could be paperwork. It could be a doctor's appointment. And it could just be something as simple as a conversation. And it might be something to do with your ex. You're not happy with something or something needs to change. Or maybe you want to approach your ex about changing weekends or about changing locations or times or something. And you're scared to do it. You're worried about what they might say. So you keep putting it off and you keep putting it off and you keep putting it off. Or you need to have your kids, have a discussion with your kids about something. Maybe you've met someone new and you're too scared to talk to them. Maybe something's changed, or maybe your work hours have changed, or something has changed in your life and you're too scared to talk to your kids, or you've met a new partner and you're too scared to tell them about something about your life. There's different areas of things in your life that you could be avoiding, but avoiding it is not going to make your situation easier. So I really want you to think about, what is it you're avoiding and what is it you can do to handle that situation. Now, honestly, when you're avoiding something, you are doing it because you're scared of the outcome. You're scared of what might happen. And that's why it's important when you're doing this. You don't just do it on the whim. You don't just do, fuck it, okay, I'll just do this. And you might send an email or send a text message or make a phone call. And then you're like, holy shit, that's not what I wanted. I didn't put enough thought into that. So when you've been delaying something for some time and you've been holding it off, don't just respond to it on a whim hoping for the best, because you've been putting it off. And then you're just going to send this random message hoping that's going to solve the problem. And then you regret it because you didn't put thought into something that you've been putting off for so long. So when you are putting something off, really put some thought into how you can handle it. And one thing I can promise you right now, there is a solution for everything. And you don't get a solution by avoiding it. Now, say, for example, you're avoiding bills and you've got all your bills piling up and you're at like ultimate panic level right now thinking, holy shit, how am I going to do this? I'll tell you right now, the best way to do this is be real about your situation. Now, this doesn't just apply with bills. It applies with anything, with a conversation you need to have, with something that you're worried about, anything at all that you're avoiding. The best way to handle it is by being real about your situation, because something's happened that's scaring you, that's worrying you, that's putting it off, making you put it off, I should say. And that's why you've been avoiding it. That's why maybe you haven't paid that bill. That's why maybe you haven't had that conversation. That's why maybe you haven't sorted out that appointment that you've been needing to, because you've been scared about it. You don't know what to do. Be real about it. And you might think, well, fuck, Leanne, it's not as easy as that. Well, it is. It is as real as that. And say, for example, you've been avoiding your bills because you literally don't have the money to pay the bills. And once you've paid your bills and you've paid all your everything else, once your salaries come in and you've got next to nothing left for the week. Like, if I pay this, I don't have the money. I'm literally struggling as it is. I'll tell you now, be real about your situation. And I don't mean go be real and just tell a friend about it. I mean, be real with the people you owe money to. Because quite often, people don't want to see you suffer. And big companies don't want to lose your business. So if they know you're struggling and if you're real with them about your situation, they will find a way to make it work. Whether it's a payment plan, a hardship plan, something, they will do something to help you out. They won't just say, sorry, we're going to turn your power off, or sorry, your phone's getting switched off tomorrow. If you avoid things, then that is what happens. Your power will get turned off. Your phone will get turned off. Your car might get repossessed if you keep avoiding things. But if you're open and honest with your providers about your situation, they won't just say, here's money, we'll sort it out for you. No. But when you're being real about your situation and saying, listen, I'm really struggling, I don't have the money to pay my power bill this month, they will work out something. They will work out a plan. I don't know exactly what they do, but there are options available. There are hardship plans available. There are plans available where they can cover your bill for a certain period of time. They can pay one of your bills. That plan does exist. I know it's in New South Wales, in Australia, for anyone listening here, but I don't know in other areas if they have programs like that available. But there are hardship programs available. But you don't get these given to you if you keep avoiding things. So that's why it just feels like a whole weight has been lifted off your shoulders when you actually deal with stuff. Because when you got all these things going to your head thinking, shit, I've got to pay this, I've got to pay this, I've got to pay this, I've got to pay this. It's very overwhelming, isn't it? And it's a lot. And it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of pressure, and a lot of sleepless nights. Be real about your situation. Pretending like it's not happening does not make your life easier. If need be, write a list of things, whether it's bills that you've got to pay, whether it's someone you need to talk to, whether it's an appointment that you've got to follow up on, something with your kids' school, anything at all. Write it down. This is what I need to follow up on. And stop avoiding it. And maybe it is that conversation with your ex, or a conversation with your kids, or a conversation with a friend, or maybe you're dating someone and you're not happy about the situation and you just think, you know what, I'm over this. I don't want this anymore. But you've been avoiding it. Be real. Because the more you put it off, the more it fucks with your head and the more you're messing your life around. That is not what you want. And sometimes being real, it does cause someone to get upset. But the more you're avoiding it, the more you're making yourself upset. Sometimes in life, you've got to be selfish and just look after you. And especially when you're a single parent, because you've got nobody else looking after you. You're looking after the whole show on your own. So stop putting other people's emotions and needs first while you're putting yourself on the back burner. Look after yourself. So if you're in a relationship at the moment and you're not happy and you're trying to get out of it, but you're not doing it because you don't want to upset the other person, why are you willing to keep making yourself unhappy for the other person's feelings? Because you're scared of them. Who knows? They may turn around and say, you know what? You're right. This isn't working. It all comes down to how you approach the situation. And as I said, it's all about being real. And it's not about ghosting people, because that's not being real. That's not how you handle it. And to be honest with you, that's not handling a situation. That's avoiding a situation. And that's quite a weak move, if you ask me. Don't ghost people. Be real. If you're in a situation and you're not happy, write them an email if you're scared to talk. But I think talking is the best thing. But actually, no one likes to break up by email. Don't send them an email. I take that back. Don't send an email if you want to break up. But maybe you can write it out first. Plan what you want to say. If it's really stewing on you that much and you're that worried about it, write it out. Plan ahead what you want to say to this person and think about why you're not happy, what's not working for you, how it's making you feel, and that's what you want to address here. Be real. And with any situation, anything that you're in, you talk about what's happening, why you want this, and how it's making you feel. And I guarantee you, most people will not get angry in a situation. People like it when you're being real and honest. That's what people want. And I say that to my daughter all the time. Sometimes she does things and she lies to me, a little bit sneaky. She doesn't do it often, but every now and then she'll be a little bit sneaky and she'll lie to me. And I know straight away. I know. I'm her mum. I know when she's lying. And I say to her, darling, I get more angry at you when you lie to me than when you've done something wrong and been honest with me. And that goes with anyone in life. If you're open and honest, you will get a better response and a better reaction. But if you lie to someone and they find out you're lying, I guarantee that will make them even more upset. So whatever you're avoiding in life, think about what it is and how it's affecting you, how it's making you feel, and what outcome you want. And going back to whether it's something to do with bills, tell them, this is my situation. This is where I'm at financially. What can we do? How can we make this work? Because I don't want to deal with this anymore. I want this problem gone. I want this bill gone. What can you do to help me out here? And guaranteed, they will all find some sort of resolution. I don't know many people that will just turn around and say, nope, sorry, too bad, you got to pay. Unless maybe it's a small business or something like that. But usually if it's a big utility company or a big financial company or someone, they will help you out. And worst case scenario, if they don't, go even higher. That's what I do. If you're dealing with someone and they don't want to cooperate, go higher. Keep going up, keep going up, keep going up until you get someone that's willing to cooperate with you. That's what I do. And to do that, you need to be real. Talk about where you're at. Talk about your financial situation. Realistically, I can't do that. What can we do to make it work? And again, it's not just about money. It's not just about bills. It's about anything. So please remember that when you're avoiding anything in life, you're just adding stress to your life. You're adding anxiety. You're adding overwhelm. You're adding pressure that you don't need. Yes, it's scary owing money. Yes, it's scary having to have those hard conversations. Yes, it's scary dealing with the unknown and dealing with shit that you just don't know what kind of response you're going to get. But it's even harder to avoid it. It's even harder pretending like it doesn't exist, because those things that you do keep pretending and you do keep putting in that spam folder and you do keep wishing that eventually it'll go away, it's going to pop up at some point. Whether it's in a big nasty letter or knock on your door or some way, it will come back at some point. It doesn't ever just completely disappear. Sort it out and follow it up. And to do that, you need to be real. Say, this is where I'm at. This is my situation. How can we make this work? And it's not about being angry and aggressive. And that's the angle a lot of people take these days. They get so scared and so worried because when it comes to money, that's a real topic that makes people angry, isn't it? You don't want to upset people when it comes to money. And so when it is that situation, people tend to just get angry. Well, fuck it, I can't pay this. I'm not doing that. That mentality doesn't resolve anything, because the person you're speaking to on the phone, it's not them. They're not the ones issuing the money or the bill, I should say. They're the people that just work for that company. They're just doing their job to earn their money so they can put food on their table. It's understanding how to approach it. And you will never get anywhere in life by getting angry at someone. And I'll tell you a little example of this. I was away for a weekend a couple of weeks ago for my daughter with her birthday, and we stayed in this hotel, and we'd stayed there once before over Christmas holidays. And the girl that checked us in was the same girl that checked us in the previous time, except she seemed really moody. She seemed angry. She didn't recognize us, which I didn't expect her to. She probably deals with a lot of people all the time. And I just thought, well, she's not happy. She hasn't had a good day. So I just didn't acknowledge anything, because what I wanted when I checked in is I wanted to try and ask for a late checkout. And sometimes they will cooperate. Sometimes they let you do that. And I thought to myself, as soon as I saw what kind of mood she was in, I'm like, there is no way in hell she's going to cooperate with me, because I could see she was angry. Whether it be some other guest in the hotel had pissed her off, maybe something at home had happened that pissed her off, something had happened and she wasn't happy, and I could see that. And so I thought, I'm just going to leave this one be. Anyway, later I had to go back to the reception desk because I had a problem with the room keys. And that's when I started talking to her, and I started smiling and laughing, and I made a joke, and she's like, oh yeah, I remember you now. You were here and I had to fix something for you guys. And she was lovely then. And I'm like, okay, good. I've got her on a good side now. And then I went back a bit later that afternoon, had a little conversation again. I said, oh, by the way, what are the chances of getting a late checkout? And she's like, yeah, that's no problem. We can do that. And then I got 2 extra hours stay in the hotel. I'm like, perfect. Thank you so much. So instead of checking out at 10 a.m., we got to check out at 12, which was perfect. And that's my point. Read the room. You're not going to get what you want by getting angry. And even though it wasn't me that was angry, I could see that she was. And she wasn't in a place where she was going to cooperate with me. And I could have approached her and said, hey, what are the chances of getting a late checkout? Even though I could see what mood she was in. And if she got angry at me by saying something, by responding to my question, and then most people in that situation probably would have responded back to her in an angry way, saying, well, why are you getting angry at me? Or when you're asking a favor of someone, getting angry at them will not get you anywhere. If you want someone to cooperate with you, you've got to read the room and you've got to speak in a tone that's going to make them want to cooperate with you. It's like when you go out to a restaurant and you see people that are rude to the wait staff or to the managers there and just clicking their fingers and expecting everyone to be at their beck and call. It's like, why would someone want to help you when you're behaving in this way? And it's so true and it applies with anything. And try it out. I want you to get angry at someone and see if they'll cooperate with you, and then go back and talk to them in a totally different tone, in a friendly tone, in a happier way, and see if they are willing to cooperate with you then. And I guarantee they will. Most people are happy to help you out. But if you're going to be an arsehole to them, they will not. So just remember, when you're wanting to resolve something that you've been putting off, I want you to realize, or remember, I should say, that when you approach it from a place of fear, like maybe you're worried about money, you think, okay, fuck, I don't want to approach this because they're going to say, well, too bad, you've got to pay it. So you go in there all defensive and all worried and all worked up. And then they just see that and they think that you're getting worked up at them. So then they get on the defense and fight back at you. You're not going to get a resolution. If you want someone to cooperate with you and you want to solve these issues that you keep putting off, then you need to go into this coming from a place of understanding and coming from a place of not attacking the person that you're dealing with. Because like I said, it's not the person that you're dealing with that's put you in this situation. Well, actually, maybe it is. Maybe it's your ex that you're dealing with. But either way, no matter who it is you're approaching, if it is your ex, if it's your boss, if it's your neighbor, if it's someone that keeps parking out the front of your house, maybe it's a neighbor that just keeps pissing you off and they keep making a loud noise. If you go next door to your neighbor and you abuse them, say, listen, this has just got to fucking stop, I'm over this, they are not going to cooperate with you. If you go in there and approach it, say, hey, listen, I was wondering what we could do about this. I work late nights. Is there something we can work out so we're not having to deal with this? Or I don't know, I'm just making up bullshit as I go along, to be honest with you. But if you approach it from a way where you're not attacking them, they're more than likely to cooperate. Now, in saying that, you do have some arseholes out there that will just be like, too bad, fuck off, see you later. They're arseholes. You don't want to deal with people like that. And if they do that, just bye-bye. See you later. Don't deal with those people. But always think about how you approach a situation. Please stop avoiding shit. Please stop putting things in your spam folder. Please stop putting things in your in tray or in your little basket on top of the fridge or that side drawer that you keep shoving paperwork into, thinking, I'll get to that, I'll get to that, I'll get to that. I want you to stop putting it off. I want you to actually work out what you need to resolve. And it may cost you money. It may not. They may actually turn around and say, sure, we can do this. We can cut it down to a monthly payment and you can pay this much. Who knows what the situation is? But like I said, if you actually look at what you need to sort out and think about what you can do to make it better, what you can do to get rid of it, to sort it out. Write an email to that provider that keeps sending you bills. Say, listen, I just can't do it. This is where I'm at. What can we do? Write an email to your ex. Write an email to whoever you need to that's got something that's going on or that's dealing with something that you're avoiding with. Do whatever it is that you need to do. If you got someone chasing you for something and you just keep avoiding it, keep avoiding it, keep avoiding it, be real. Say, listen, I need to get this done, but at the moment I can't. I'm not in the financial situation, but maybe in 6 to 12 months, I might come back and look into that. Be real about your situation. No one likes things sugar-coated. No one likes people being lied to. No one likes people being fake. Be real, be genuine. And I understand it can be scary. It can be very overwhelming, actually looking at what you've got to do. So like I said, not doing it at all makes it easier. But the more you put things off, the harder it gets, because sometimes there are more consequences with things when you delay it for so long. So think about anything in your life that you are putting off. And time to stop doing that. Stop avoiding the hard shit. And not only does it make you feel better in yourself, you've got that huge weight lifted off your shoulders. It makes you feel more confident and more powerful in yourself. Yeah, okay, awesome. I did that. That is something I've been needing to do for so long. Maybe it's getting your car service and you keep delaying it and keep delaying it and keep delaying it because you're thinking, I just don't have the money. Maybe they have Afterpay or Zip Pay or some payment plan option. Find out ways that you can make it work, because delaying it is not finding a way that you can make it work. It's just pretending like it doesn't happen. There's always a way to make your situation work, but you've got to actually tackle it head on, and you've got to approach it and be real about your situation. And that's it. That's all the amazing advice I have to share with you today. So please stop putting things off because you're so overwhelmed, because you've just got so much on your to-do list as it is. And I know it's a lot. There is just so much. And just one of the hardest things I find about single parenting is the mental and emotional load. You know, sometimes the financial side can be hard. Sometimes just doing things on your own around the house, you think, oh shit, I wish I had a partner to help me with that. But you get through it. You do it. It's the emotional and mental load. You might have had a shit day at work, or you're stressing out about all these bills, or you're stressing about the things I mentioned earlier. You need to have a conversation with your ex, or you want to break up with someone, or you need to have a conversation with your kids, or you need to sort out something with the school. And these things are just stewing on your head. Because you know what? You don't have someone to go home to at the end of your day and just vent to. You don't have someone to talk to. Maybe you do. Maybe you've got your family. But quite often, you're going home to your kids or you're alone and you're like, I just wish I had someone to talk to. Because sometimes just getting things off your chest and talking to someone can actually make you realize, oh, fuck, it's not that hard. Why am I avoiding this? And having that someone to talk to makes life so much easier. And that's why quite often as a single parent, you don't have that. You don't have someone to talk to and say, well, why don't you just do that? You're like, oh, because I didn't really think about it, to be honest with you, because I've just got so much going through my head. That is the last thing on my mind. So adding all this pressure and all this stress to yourself is not going to work in your favor. By constantly avoiding something, you're adding to the 1,000,001 things that's already going through your head. Eliminate that mental clutter by sorting out some of this shit. Stop avoiding what you're putting off. And I promise you, you will feel 1,000 times lighter. Please do it. And if you do it, and I'm hoping you do, I want to hear from you. I want to know what you have done that you've been avoiding. And how did it make you feel? And I promise you now, it will make you feel better. And if you are wanting to tackle some of these things, but you don't know, maybe your confidence is not at a place where you're ready to approach these kind of situations. You're like, fuck, she's right. I do need to do this, but I'm scared. I still don't know what to do. I still don't know what to say. I don't know how to approach this. I'm just not confident enough in myself. Then come and let's have a chat. Let's talk it out together. Let me go through some questions. Let's have a little session and let's work out, okay, how can we make this work for you? What can we do? Because you need to get out of this cycle, because it's not healthy. It's not doing you any favors mentally and emotionally. It's adding way too much pressure on you and way too many sleepless nights, and you don't need that. Life is so much easier when you don't have all this shit going through your head at night. So let's have a chat if that is you and you are finding things just so hard to tackle, because it is it can be scary, but there is a way through it. Stop avoiding the hardship. So that's it from me today, guys. I hope you got something from this, because it is something that we all deal with, and it is a part of life. But like I said, just stop avoiding and deal with it. Deal with the hardship. So that's it from me. Thank you again. And as I always say, I hope you got something from this. And if you are loving the show, please give us a review. Give me your feedback. Send any thoughts, any opinions, any questions, anything you want to share. I'm here and I'm willing to listen, and I always answer questions. So thank you again. And as I always say, until next week, I'll be in your ears then. Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.